In 1989, Bob Moran wins the first Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. 1990, Paul Berger comes up with some late heroics to win the title. In 1991, Pat Pay wins 4 straight matches and the championship. Last year, it was Mike Morgan winning 4 in a row and the 4th annual Tournament of Champions. Now, here are the 6 bowlers competing in the 1993 Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. Neil Gosselin qualified for his first tournament appearance with 4 straight wins, averaging .386. On Christmas weekend, another first-time qualifier, Bob Mazur, put 3 late marks together to win a close one against Kevin Davis. Tom Morgan qualified for his 2nd straight tournament appearance in January, beating the all-time winner on Stars and Strikes, Steve Vadney. Peter Flynn had to win 3 matches to make his 2nd tournament appearance in the last 3 years. Last week, Rico Baldinelli made his first ever appearance on Stars and Strikes, a successful one, beating Bob Kelly for a tournament berth. And our number 1 seed is Paul Berger, who qualified on Thanksgiving weekend with a .464. Berger has been in all 5 tournaments. No one else has made it more than twice. The field is set. The next 5 weeks will determine our new champion. This is the 5th annual Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions.
WNDS Sports and Tri-State Megabucks present Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Oh, look at this. Look at that. He got it. Ready to go for a spin.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is sponsored in part by Somerville Lumber and by Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan.
Looks good. This is go out.
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi, everybody, and welcome once again to Park Place Lanes here in Windham. I'm Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy, and this is week 1 of our 5th annual Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. We're so glad that you could join us. 5 big weeks of Candlepin bowling here to wrap up our regular season. And, of course, the big money on the line and some of the best bowlers that we've had throughout the last season, Dan, back here to give it one more shot and determine our season's champion.
They work hard to get here, and we got some great bowlers and some great matchups. It should be exciting.
All right, of course, 1 extra week, too. Unlike our normal series during the year, instead of 5 bowlers over 4 weeks, this is 6 bowlers over 5 weeks. So that makes it a little more difficult on these guys that have to go in the first week.
Well, if we're making about 20 weeks, maybe you and I can make it, but it's only 6.
All right, let's meet our first 2 bowlers in this week 1 matchup. First of all, our number 6 seed from Lynn, Massachusetts, Neil Gosselin.
Okay, Neil comes in averaging 125. He has a huge high single of 210.
And Neil, of course, got here with his 353 that put him in the number 6 seeded spot. And so he has the honor of appearing in this first match against our number 5 seeded bowler from Dover, New Hampshire, Bob Mazur.
Bob comes in averaging 123 and has a high single of 191.
Okay, and of course the runner-up today will receive 6th place prize money of $100. We also have our bonus ball contest coming up a little bit later on in the program. But before we get the program started, I want to welcome in a special guest who's no stranger to Candlepin Stars and Strikes, the owner of Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan in Salem, New Hampshire, Emmett Horgan. Emmett, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Doug. I appreciate that. And as everyone at Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan here, right here in Salem, New Hampshire, is as excited as the bowlers here today. We know that they've worked very, very hard to get here, and this is going to be the final winning format that we operate under also. So with that, let me give it back to Doug, and best of luck to all the bowlers. The next time you're going to see me is when I'm going to be presenting the check to the final winner.
All right, so you'll be back in a few weeks presenting that big $1,500 check. Emmett, thanks very much. We appreciate it. We've got 3 strings of bowling coming up, Neil Gosselin and Bob Mazur to start the Tournament of Champions, and we'll do that right after we do these messages. Don't go away. All right, before we get this first match underway, here is a look to refresh your memory at the 6 bowlers who have qualified for our 5th annual Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. Neil Gosselin and Bob Mazur today. Tom Morgan gets the winner next week. In 2 weeks, Peter Flynn will be here. Of course, Peter Flynn is in the doubles tournament as well. Rico Baldinelli is our number 2 seed, and 4 weeks from today, when we get to the championship match, Paul Berger will be here in that number 1 spot against the survivor of these first 4 weeks. Neil Gosselin is ready to get us started here as we begin our 5-week sequence. Hard to believe that this is number 5 of these.
I know. Seems like Paul Berger sitting in the top there. Seems like he qualify this years ago.
Well, actually, he did.
That's right. A year ago.
But Paul, of course, has been the guy who's more than anyone dominated the Tournament of Champions in terms of appearances, and there's a spare for Neil Gosselin to start.
He's picking up where he left off when he won his ladder championship. He went right through and just knocked off everybody.
Won 4 matches in a row, the only man to do that this year on Stars and Strikes. And Neil on the spare drops 8.
Leaves himself just a 3-6, trying to make it 2 in a row in the early lead.
Neil Gosselin was the lowest seeded bowler to advance to the Tournament of Champions, and he makes it 2 marks in a row. Neil came in his original series as the 4th seed, and that, of course, necessitated the 4 straight wins, and he made it here. Of the 6 bowlers who have qualified here, Dan, for this year's tournament, 2 were number 1 seeds. 2 others were number 2 seeds. Then we had a number 3 seed, Peter Flynn, and a number 4 seed, Neil Gosselin. So, like the NCAA tournament, once in a while, those lower seeds sneak up there. Bob Mazur now.
Oh,
and Bob gets out with a nice 10 in the first box.
Fantastic. I thought he was going to be flush on the 3-pin that time. Actually looked like he was, but he's enough action on the ball to clear them all out. That's a good-looking ball. The 5 and the 8. It's right on it.
Yes. First mark for Bob.
Neil Gosselin, for his 3rd box, opened with 2 spares. Leads by 8. Good break off that. Actually dropped that ball a little bit behind himself. Leaves just the 1-2-4, though.
For 3 in a row, yes. Neil in his 4 wins averaged 386 as his winning score.
Looked like he was going to be left with a 3-4-6. The wood wrapped around the 4-pin. Dropped it, gives him 8 on the spare, and the 3-6 left to make it 4 spares in a row. It's right on it again.
Yes.
Pretty sharp early in the match is Neil Gosselin.
Bob Mazur now on a mark.
Four 8 left. Good 8-pin drop on his spare.
Oh, Bob let that one get away. Bob won his way here into the Tournament of Champions back on Christmas weekend.
Good correction on the scoreboard.
Bob in his championship match had to beat Kevin Davis, and in order to do it, he had to put 3 marks together late in the match to come from behind for the win.
That was an exciting match. Bob's a fighter. Fights you right down to the end. Another spare for Bob in the 4th. Kind of upset with himself missing that 2-pinner in the 3rd box, though. And like all the bowlers, kind of takes it out in his towel a little bit.
Neil working on his 4th mark in a row, and let's
Look
see.
out. Look out.
8 is the fill. He's had 3 8 fills and a 7 fill so far.
Good breaks on lane 32 and missed the head pin again, but leaves just the 1 and the 4. Piece of wood in front of the 4. He catches the head pin. He's going to make it a 5 in a row.
Oh, yes. Big crowd here for week 1 of the Tournament of Champions, and they're enjoying it right now as these bowlers off to good starts, particularly Neil Gosselin with 5 consecutive marks.
5
That time missing the head pin.
A little more speed on that ball, and that's the problem. Sometimes you get a little more adrenaline flowing. You get 5 in a row, and you start overthrowing, and that's straightened his ball out. His ball wants to break a little bit.
Oh, he made it!
Ah, he came right back, though. Needs some help on the 9-pin, and there it is.
6 in a row for Neil Gosselin. And Bob Mazur working on a mark, punches through the center.
Well, Neil hasn't been beating the head pin to death with that first ball, but he's certainly got the second ball working.
Bob takes an 8, and through 5, he trails by 27, and now he's up against another mark here in the 6th. Bob uses all of the lane. He puts the ball down right on the very corner of the lane next to the channel on the right side.
6-7, piece of wood angled toward the 7. Could have a shot at this. Oh, a little too high in the wood. The ball didn't deflect to the left. Went right straight back through into the 6. So he'll be open in the 6th. Neil Gosselin still got that streak going, and he can build up a commanding lead here early in the match.
Neil Gosselin from Lynn, Mass., the home of so many great candlepin bowlers. And candlepin bowling fans, we might add. And once again on lane 32, Neil avoids what could have been a spread eagle punch with a 6 drop.
He found something out, and missing the head pin on lane 32 and get some decent spare breaks. Here he's got a real difficult one after hitting the head pin. And the streak will stop at 6 in a row. He gets a good hand from the crowd. Appreciative applause for those 6 marks in a row.
And takes it for the 10, 112 through 7. Neil is a student at Northern Essex Community College. Does most of his bowling at the Lucky Strike lanes in Lynn and also at the Beverly Bowl-O-Mat. Neil has 3 children, 18-year-old Brandy, 16-year-old Neil Jr., and 12-year-old Sherry. And this time he did get the spread eagle. So 2 opens for Neil Gosselin in the 7th and 8th. And a chance for Bob Mazur. Just missing the head pin, but didn't turn out too badly for him.
Maybe that's the MO today. Miss the head pin. You got to see if you get a better break. Wish that would catch up with you after a while.
Got it that time to convert the spare.
Very nicely done here. Just plays to the left of the head pin, takes the head pin, ball goes down and clears out the 4-7 with the help of the wood. Spare in the 7th. Down by 34, can reduce that with this ball.
Looking for a big ball here because he'd love to put another mark up.
Decent 7, triangle, 3, 5, 6, and watch out for the wood. That wood could prevent him from getting the 5-pin.
Let's see. Oh, and the 6.
Well, I think he was worried about the 5-pin going a little far left and left not only the 5 but the 6.
So a 9 and the lead at 27, and here's what happened. The wood one way, the 3-pin the other way.
So the lead is 27. Final 2 frames for Neil Gosselin, already at 121.
On the head pin, look at the result.
If Neil Gosselin's going to duplicate his feat in winning the ladder championship this time, he's going to have to make it one more match. Because we said in the opening of the show, it's one more week. It's got him flying everywhere. He put one over on lane 33.
A big snap on that ball. And it's 10. You don't get any extra for that, do you? Snap one over into the next lane?
Well, we didn't knock anything down in the other lane.
No, that's true. Okay.
a good looking ball. It was just a matter of time. He made some adjustments, and he came back on the head pin 3 or 4 boxes in a row full. And that time he hits the 1-3 pocket, and the result is a strike.
His 7th mark in this game. He's got 141 plus 2 balls coming. So a chance for a 150.
Oh, that looks like a double.
There's 150 there.
There it comes. There it comes. Oh, the second piece of wood stopped it.
What a game, though, for Neil Gosselin.
Already at 150.
And he makes it mark number 8 for 151. That is the way to start. Tournament of Champions.
Bob off the head pin, 1, 3, 6, 7. Oh, great shot. Splits the 1-3, watch the head pin. It'll go right down and clear out the 7. Just like the book says. 104 through 9.
Needed that, too. He couldn't afford to go 2 opens here to end the first game.
I'd like to get his first strike right about now.
Let's see. Well, an 8 drop. Chance for another mark. Oh, he just slid by. I thought he had it.
From behind him, I can get a good view of the ball. It looked like he had the 2 pins covered last minute. His ball breaks a little bit from left to right.
A 10 box for Bob Mazur, a 122, but an outstanding 151 for Neil Gosselin to open the 5th annual Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. We'll be back with Game 2 and some details on how you could win yourself here on Stars and Strikes. Don't go away. All right, we'd love for you to get in on the winning in our bonus ball contest. Because of our taping schedule, sending cards now probably will not reach us in time in order to get you into the drawings for this season. But if you'd like to get a head start on next season, we certainly do hold on to those postcards that we get during the summer, and we do get quite a number of them during our rebroadcast during the summer weeks. So if you'd like to send some in and get in on the winning of cash and special sets of brand new bowling balls from Paramount Industries, then you'll want to send in your postcards. Make sure they're regular postcards only, please, with your name, your full address, and the number from 1 to 10. Mail them into Park Place Lanes, Route 28, Windham, New Hampshire, 03087. And good luck. We're going to have $20 in the jackpot at the end of today's show because we had a big $110 winner last week. By the way, because it is the end of the season, we've left all the postcards in that were already here, so giving everybody a second chance here during the Tournament of Champions. Bob Mazur, starting game 2. And he'll look at the 5, 7, and 9 with wood.
Well, the 5 and 7 should go. He could have trouble with the 9.
There it is. That wood was not down far enough to cover the 9 pin.
I wasn't frozen against the 9 at all. If you went high, you have a chance of losing the 7 pin, so he was just trying to hope something would come off the wall.
Here it is.
He was hoping with that piece of wood in the channel that something would come back, and he saw the 7 pin start to come, and then the other pin stopped it.
Bob right back in the pocket, and there's his first strike.
He would like that spare in the first. Because that was a pretty good-looking ball. Tough leave, but this time, strike.
Neil Gosselin firing.
A lot of speed on that ball. Speed is not everything. That time he just didn't leave much on the plate to mix. It just blew 8 pins into the pit area. Look at this. Oh, wow.
He scared it.
Pretty close.
Keep in mind, the curtains can be pretty lively here, too, at Park Place. And with that legal hit on the 5 pin, if the curtain had come back, snapped back to hit the 7, it would have been a legal shot. Instead, a 10 box. Neil with a 29-pin lead in the match.
And he picks on the 1-2 pocket this time. He almost had the 5-10, and he tripped the 5 out of there. And this time, the 10 pin with a piece of wood in front.
And the spare.
Wow. I don't think that's quite how he wanted to play that one. But it's a spare. He avoided the wood in front, carrying the ball off the wood to the left. The ball actually took the 10 pin. Bob missing the head pin on lane 32. 1, 2, 9, and 10.
This is on a strike, remember, for Bob. Fills it with 8. Bob, as I mentioned, was a #1 seed when he first qualified for the show back in December and knocked off the #2 seed Kevin Davis in the championship match, coming from behind in the last string. Going to have to come from behind in this one, too.
Well, triangle, piece of wood. Ooh, watch, it's going too high.
Oh,
boy.
Just the way he wanted it, then.
So there's two spares by each bowler that not quite the way I think either one of them wanted to play him, but the result is what they wanted.
On the spare, Neil Gosselin through the middle for 3.
Neil almost looks like he's turning the ball over a little more now, and it's breaking a little sharper at the end.
Mentioned Neil had to win 4 shows to get here. Ironically, the lowest score he threw was the score he threw to get into the Tournament of Champions. His first week, he threw a 425 to beat Gary Carrington, including a 157 third game. And the following week, he threw a 365 to beat Brian McKinley, then a 401 to beat Dave Blaine, and then the 353 to beat Bob Whitcomb to get into the tournament.
3, 6, 7 left for Neil. Going to try to split the 3 and the 6.
It'll look great if it goes.
Oh, yes. Wow.
Told you it would look great. We may even get another look at it as we head out to a commercial break. We'll be right back. Don't go away. All right, Bob Mazur working on a spare.
Trailing by 23.
Oh,
This
maybe.
way.
Yes, the break on spare.
That was a big break there. It's a good-looking ball going in. It's a matter of if he's going to have an 8 or 9 pin drop, or possibly the strike if that last pin, which is the 7, falls correctly and actually benefited from another piece of wood lying there.
Crossing over Brooklyn pocket this time.
Just
and
touching the head pin that time.
I'll tell you, that was very close to a double strike.
6-10 left.
$20 more. Oh, Bob Mazur is on the comeback trail here.
Well, as I said earlier, boy, Bob's a competitor. He just keeps coming at you. Doesn't really panic. Got the lead to 13.
Oh, big strike on spare for Neil Gosselin to answer. Terrific match going here. Unlike Bob's, that was a quick.
Picture perfect. Just broke sharply right into 1-3 pocket. That time a little full and gets the break on the 10 and the 4. Leaves just the 3. Actually, the 2.
11 marks in 15 boxes for Neil Gosselin. Going for 12.
No. Oh, no.
Nope. And the 10.
Lead back up to 22. However, Bob's working on a mark. Oh, right back in there.
Oh, my. Bob seems to have picked up his pace a little bit, Dan. He normally really takes his time up there, but that time I think he was charged up. He was ready. Spare strike, spare strike.
Time doesn't get the ball to come back on the head pin, but 4 horsemen right, plus the 7 pin, piece of wood, and you can see Bob, he's waving the wood back. He wants it resting against the head pin.
Let's see.
Oh, right in front of the 7. Hit the sidewall and came in front of the 7 pin. It's a 9 drop on the strike. The streak ends at 4. 79 pins in those 4 boxes, though.
He had 36 after 3. After 7, he has 115. And 10 more in the 8th. So the lead, as you see, quickly down to 12. Plus Neil confronted with that strike in the 7th.
Yeah, strike 9. So if he doesn't mark here, this match would be pretty close to being even. If he is going to mark, it's going to be a nice one. The 1, 3, 4, 7, 10. Piece of wood way in the back, but don't think it's going to come into play. But
Wow.
close.
And a 10.
You see it, the lead is now just a mere 3 pins.
Back on the head pin for a strike.
This time he crossed over in the 1-2 pocket, but he was nice and tight. And he just blew out those Candlepins one more time for another strike, trying to push the lead back up into double figures. Bob back on the head pin, triangle. Piece of wood next to the 6 pin. He's got the 3, 5, 6. I think the wood will cover him.
Plus he's got more wood coming over.
Now he's going to, I'd say you have to play the one on the right, because if he hits the head pin, the wood's going to kill the ball and leave one or the other standing. Yep, there it is. He may have thought that the wood wouldn't carry the 3, and there was a good question there.
Bob from Dover, New Hampshire, does his bowling at the Lamprey River Lanes in Newmarket. And Bob works for Visions Beauty Supply in Newburyport, Mass. Over on lane 31 now, and back on the head pin again, but with a lead that's testy.
The 4, the 7, 9, and 10, and he's going to have to go after the double piece of wood in front of the 4, 7, and then get some help. No, didn't even move the second piece of wood. He's going to be well over 140. Already at a 143.
2 more for a 145 middle game for Bob Mazur, and a 2-game total of 267.
267 after 2, and he's going to find himself behind.
Oh, double strike for Neil Gosselin.
Boy, that's enough to really discourage you. You fought and clawed your way back and cut it down to 3, and the fella gets up and throws a double strike.
Now to lane 31.
This is a huge ball right here.
Looking for 3 in a row. He's off target on the head pin at least, but drops 8 anyway.
Big break there. Leaves just the 1 in the 8. So that's 28 in that 8th frame. 18 already in the 9th.
A piece of wood in front that's being checked by Cindy Sissom. And it is going to be taken out of play, so Neil will get a clean shot on the 1 and the 8.
Had that lead down to 3, and he's liable to be behind more than he was after the first game if he was to pick this spare up.
Not an easy shot, and doesn't quite get it. Well, right now, this game is even. Neil's at 145, and he'll stay at 145. So a matching game here in the middle game, 145 each. 296 for Neil Gosselin. He maintains his 29-pin lead after 2. We'll be back for Game 3 on the Stars and Strikes Tournament of Champions. Neil Gosselin will start our 3rd game.
He still has his 29-pin advantage, but Bob Mazur had cut it down to 3.
No. for Neil Gosselin and for Bob Mazur. Their first appearances in the Tournament of Champions. Oh, how about a break there? Getting the head pin and the 10 to go out, leaving the 3.
Things are going good. You just fire away, and they seem to come your way. Oh, boy.
Nope.
Can't much help there. So a mini mistake by Neil Gosselin.
Well, he weathered the storm in the middle game. He was able to answer Bob Mazur's call with a double strike late.
It's only a mini mistake now, but Bob Mazur wants to make it a huge mistake by throwing a couple marks up.
Bob didn't get much mixing action on that ball.
3-6-4-7. Not an easy spare. Trying to split the 3 and the 6. Too heavy on the 3.
Talk about Bob and Neil each making their first Tournament of Champions appearance this year. Tom Morgan, who will come in next week, will be making his second straight appearance. He was in the tournament last year. Peter Flynn will be making his second tournament appearance, and you'll also see Peter Flynn next hour in the doubles Tournament of Champions as well. Rico Baldinelli, our number 2 seed, will be making his first Tournament of Champions appearance. And a strike for Bob Mazur.
He's got those pieces of wood to split and roll towards the 6-pin, just tipping that 6-pin down. So he does put at least one mark up, something to build on.
And as I already alluded to before, and certainly will mention again during the course of this 5 weeks, Paul Berger, our number 1 seed, making his 5th straight appearance. He's been in every one of the Tournament of Champions. He was the overall title winner in 1990. Ironically, that's the only one of the 4 matches that he's been in that he's won. 7 bucks for Neil.
So not a usual start of Neil Gosselin, at least not the start compared to the start he had the first and second games. 26 after 3.
At the beginning of the show, you met Emmett Horgan, the owner of Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan in Salem, one of our participating sponsors for this series here on Stars and Strikes. The other, our good friends at Somerville Lumber, where you can get it right the first time. Somerville Lumber.
This is an important spare leave for Neil.
No.
Okay. 2 things happened right there. Bob Mazur dodged another bullet. Neil might have lost a little more confidence, and it gave a little more confidence to Bob Mazur. Now, if Bob was to throw a double here, we'll get a new ball game. Working on a strike.
Bob brings it up into the pocket for an 8-drop. He'll work on the 2-5. No.
I was going to say this would be a momentum swinger in Bob's way, but actually now it's swung back to Neil. 2-pinner just takes out the object pin being a 2, 9 on the strike.
Does cut the lead to 18, taking advantage of the 7 box. And a glance over at the scoreboard for Bob.
He knows he has to take advantage of every open frame that Neil Gosselin had, and he has an open frame in the 4th. Now, Bob kind of pushed that ball. Not a good release that time. That looks a little better.
Pretty good effort on a tough leave.
Needs one of these to keep it at 18.
Gets the 9. We will take a break. 6 boxes to go in week 1 of the 1993 Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. Neil Gosselin holding on to the lead. We'll be back. So Neil Gosselin with still 18 pins of his lead remaining.
Oh, trips out the 5. We have the 5-7 left, and now just the 5-pin. Remember, he just missed a single pin on lane 31. And this is to get that confidence back. The 7-pin.
Oh, just barely. He used all of the lane that time. His first mark after 5 opens, going back to the last game. 14th mark of the match, and there's another big 9 drop.
And another single pin, this time the 5.
Apparently Neil has solved whatever it was that was the problem. Ooh. $10. Remains to be seen whether that miss on the single will be costly or not. Bob Mazur probably thinking that he's got to have at least 1 mark in these 2 to keep pace.
Wants that 4 pin to go. 3, 6, 10, and the 4. I mentioned that go down to your nearest NHCBA establishment and join a summer league. Summer leagues are now forming at all the NHCBA houses.
Oh,
nice
big spare right there for Bob Mazur.
You see him just catching enough of the wood on the 3 pin to clear out the 4.
That's his 10th mark of the match. Bob is down on 1 knee looking for that lead.
Well, it loses 2 in count because Neil had a spare 9, but this is a crucial one because Neil was open. Oh,
no.
left the 9 pin. Look,
Bob
can't believe it.
No.
Nope.
Well, he did what he had to do, though. He came up with 1 mark. So that leaves a 20-pin lead for the final 4. Here's what happened.
The angle of the wood, just kick the ball to the left. Tough break there. I did mention summer leagues at all the NHCBA houses, air-conditioned. Becoming bigger and bigger in the summertime as well now, Candlepin bowling.
We will have some hot days this summer, won't we? To make up for...
I'm praying for rain, but except when I go golfing.
Neil Gosselin with a big spare in the 7th after another 9 drop. 3 9 drops in a row for Neil.
Oh,
Pulled
lost that one.
though. This time he leaves 9 standing.
Ouch. His towel is definitely going to get it. Oh, what a recovery. Right back in the pocket. 5-10 left.
And what this does is it negates the effect of the spare, and Bob Mazur will have the opportunity he wanted. He comes up trailing by 20, but Neil Gosselin, as you see, only put 20 pins up. Bob is a little short on the head pin.
4 horsemen left. 1, 2, 4, 7. Almost a must. Down to 4 frames. Needs at least 3 marks. Probably could do it with 2, but they'd have to be huge, and he needs some breaks from Neil. Oh, are you kidding?
Oh, my.
2 in a row. 2 in a row. Left the 9 pin on lane 31 the last box, and this time couldn't hit it any better without making it. Split the 1-2, got the 1-2-4, and never touched the 7.
Instead, it's a 10 box. The lead climbs 1 pin to 21.
And now it's a must.
In order to avoid a double strike situation at the end. Oh, my. Won't be easy. The 3, 4, and 6. The wood coming up in position maybe to help. Let's see. No.
I'll tell you, there's 3 great efforts, the last 3 boxes by Bob Mazur, but nothing to show for it.
And another 10 box. So it's still a 20-pin lead with now 2 boxes to go. And that puts Neil Gosselin in a position where if he can get 20 or more here in the final 2, he will force Bob Mazur to throw a double strike.
Now, he has the 4 horsemen left. But he has a couple pieces of wood. One probably will play an important part, the one behind the 4 and 7. May just keep the 4 pin in play for the 7 pin.
Yes, big spare right there. number 16 in the match for Neil Gosselin.
Plays it on the right side of the head pin, and the head pin stays in play for the 4-7. As Doug said, a huge mark. And that's even bigger.
Oh, yes. Will it go? Maybe not. Neil already over 400.
He's going to have to play this one to the right of the red line. Ooh, he's right on it. Whoa, it's enough to carry it. I didn't think he could carry it by hitting a red line or left.
Well, it's going to take strikes for Bob Mazur, and lots of them.
Remember correctly, one time in a doubles match, Bob Mazur needed a double striking, got it to win the match.
And let's wait. It'll be a 7-drop for Neil, a 120, and a 416. And a fine hand from the crowd here. 17 marks for Neil Gosselin. Bob Mazur needs to throw strikes, and that is going to do it. Neil Gosselin will advance to week 2 of the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. Tom Morgan will be his opponent next week. That'll be a good North Shore matchup. Lynn against Revere.
I have a tendency to think it'll be a noisy one, too.
Bob Mazur for the final box. Don't forget, coming up after our next break, we'll have our bonus ball contest and chat with the bowlers.
It's too bad for Bob. He just scratched and clawed the whole match, but just couldn't get over the hump.
A 9 to finish up, a 111 for Bob Mazur, and a 378. Good scoring, but just not good enough on this day. Neil Gosselin with the big 151 opening game and was able to hold off the repeated charges of Bob Mazur to win week 1 of the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. We'll be back. And welcome back to Stars and Strikes and the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy, our first week. Well, if we get matches like this all the way through, it'll be pretty exciting. Neil Gosselin put the pedal down early, and Bob Mazur charged at him a couple of times.
Well, he just kept clawing his way back into the match, but it's a shame somebody has to lose a match like this, because Bob really down the stretch there got tapped on 2 or 3 spares. Could have made a big difference. All
right, I know this enthusiastic crowd wants to show their appreciation to both of these bowlers, so first let's call up Bob Mazur for a terrific effort today, and a 378 in a losing cause. Congratulations, Bob. We have a check for you for $100, and I know this is your first time here in the Tournament of Champions, so it's nice to be here. It would have been nicer, I suppose, to win, but it was a terrific match.
Yeah, somebody has to lose, but like you say, it's just nice knowing the quality of bowler that's in the game today. Just being here is an honor. There was a couple of points in the match today where I got back into it, and Neil answered the challenge, and that's why he's moving on, because he was able to meet the challenge and it arose.
Well, again, congratulations to you, and we hope to see you again real soon. Come on back, all right?
I hope to be back here next year again.
All right, Bob. Thanks very much. Congratulations. Nice match. And now Neil Gosselin is going to try and do something that he was not able to do during his 4-week run here to qualify for the Tournament of Champions, and that is give us a winner in the bonus ball contest. Of course, it's recycled down to $20 this week because we had a big winner last week. We have not thrown any of the cards away, though, giving everybody a second chance, and it'll be a 9. So we'll see if Dan can match a 9 here.
I don't think so.
No, you just don't feel good about it?
I'm feeling about a 6.
That's incredible. He just guessed that. You saw that. He handed me the card, and he said I felt like a 6. And it is a 6 for Geneva Satterfield of Concord, New Hampshire. Geneva, we're sorry you didn't win, but we will be sending you a nice consolation gift from TV50 and the NHCBA. And, of course, the jackpot will go up $10 more next week. Come on in here. Don't be shy. I know you're not. And, yeah, nice win. Nice first game to get started. 6 in a row to start the match.
Felt good. It felt good. He came right back at me. And that double in the second string really helped a lot.
Yeah, that was a very critical point in the match where he was really starting to get that lead down to almost single figures.
If he does that, he's in good shape. He really is.
Well, next week we have a guy named Tom Morgan coming in to face you, and we figure it's going to be pretty noisy in here with Lynn against Revere and all that kind of stuff.
He's really Lynn. He's really Lynn. He's not Revere. But that's all right.
But it's going to be pretty noisy.
For a long time, so it's going to be fun.
We'll see you then.
Okay,
all right, congratulations, Neil. With the 416, congratulations to Neil Gosselin, and here's again a look at the bowlers coming up in the weeks to come here on the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions. Neil Gosselin advances from that number 6 spot. Tom Morgan in the number 4 spot will be here next week to be Neil's opponent, and then on up the ladder we go. Peter Flynn, Rico Baldinelli, and Paul Berger in the weeks to come. Don't forget also that coming up immediately following us here on Stars and Strikes in just a few minutes at 1 o'clock here on the Winds, it'll be the Tri-State Megabucks Doubles Tournament of Champions, week number 1. Paul St. Pierre and Steve Reno against Chuck Godzik and Peter Flynn. We've got some big names in both of these tournaments this year.
Some big name bowlers and some great matchups and the teams, real strong teams.
All right, we're going to be back, of course, next Sunday at 12 noon, but don't forget to stay with us for the Doubles Tournament of Champions, which is immediately following. Until then, from Park Place Lanes for Dan Murphy and the whole crew, I'm Doug Brown. Stay tuned. We'll be right back, everybody.